question many CEOs face is whether to build an in-house e-invoicing system or adopt an external platform. This is what Sangmesh Hiremath, CEO of Marmin Technologies, has to say.
So I would like to start this discussion with a very general question. So tell us something about e-invoicing in general and the initiatives around the globe for the e-invoicing.
Sure, Thava. As of now, e-invoicing is the most regulated document in businesses, regulated by government to be compliant by businesses. We see that by 2028 or 2030, many countries will implement e-invoicing in some form in their country, right? Why they're doing this? E-invoicing is trying to solve the basic question of transaction costs. So every transaction in business is actually having certain amount of friction and inertia, which translate into some form of cost. Automation at e-invoicing level is trying to reduce this transaction cost, reduce this friction, right? E-invoicing will actually help businesses not only in local market, but in the global market also. E-invoicing is that technical document which is machine readable, has a tamper-proof capability to have it stored for a longer duration, which ensures transparency between businesses. All right. As of today, as I mentioned, going forward also, this will be the most regulated document. Maybe some other document might get added, but as of today, e-invoicing is the one which is most regulated.
Thanks for the brief explanation. I hope the viewers who are listening to this will now have an understanding of what e-invoice all entails about. All right. Now, my second question to that is, now that e-invoicing in Malaysia is mandatory, how should companies approach solving e-invoice compliance? We know that this has been implemented in many countries around the world and is an ongoing effort in more countries. But Malaysia is now heading towards the second phase of implementation. So now, based on your experience, how should companies approach this? Whether it's
there is a very long answer to this. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Sorry. Okay, so I have two options for these questions, right? One is whether should they build their own solution or buy a ready-made solution. Over to you, Thavanesh.
Oh, this is a very long question, but the response to this will be much longer. So I would put it very simply that the companies have two choices, either to build their own or adopt a ready available e-invoicing solution. There are many factors involved. I think over the course we can discuss if you want. What are those reasons?
Great, thanks for that. I think we will be going in depth into a couple of things. As you mentioned earlier in your briefing, that it's very transparent. Transparency is the key and is very regulated. Now let's talk about strategy. What strategic consideration that we should put between building and buying these solutions, right? My questions to that will be, how does the choice to build or buy align with a company's long-term strategy?
I would put it this way. This is not a secret that business is ever evolving, ever changing, right? In parallel to the regulations being evolving continuously. So every organization should align and balance their short-term goals with their long-term strategies. Building a solution in-house actually makes sense if certain factors are fulfilled. For example, there is availability of skill, people, process, and technology, which all culminate into providing this solution, can add to the long-term objective of the organization. However, it has to be also understood that companies' primary focus should be to focus on their core strength, core business, and their objective should not be to build a solution just to save cost, right? So if any of these factors, if they are lacking, adopting an external solution becomes a much smarter choice.
All right, so you did touch a little bit on the short-term goals and long-term strategy. That's quite what most large organizations will look at. Now, you also mentioned about the primary focus. So I want to have understand further on that. What would be the primary factors a CEO should consider before deciding between buying and building an e-invoice solution?
Uh, these factors are actually influenced by the organization's business goals, and it should closely align by taking this decision into consideration. A CEO who has access to right talent, strong understanding of internal processes, knowing what their customer expects in terms of compliance, and a capability to develop highly scalable solution. If these skills are available in-house, it is better to achieve this solution in-house. It gives them better control on the product, its features, and even they can be rest assured on the cybersecurity aspect of the product because this has been built in-house, right? Uh, Not ignoring the fact that there are cost implications associated with this, but for sure, yes, these are the things.
Okay, thanks for the answer. And I also want to touch a bit on what you mentioned earlier. You did say emphasize on compliance and cost. So from Marmin's point of view, right, and as an external solution provider, does Marmin fulfill all the parameters as you mentioned?
Oh, yes. Yes, we fulfill most of them. We, as an e-invoicing provider, come with expertise in areas such as taxation knowledge, global e-invoicing frameworks, local knowledge of the market, past implementation experience, and integration expertise for various ERPs available in the market, right? So this stack, the technology stack which we have built, I mean, you want to process one invoice or 1 million invoices, we are there. So if a company is choosing an external provider, they have to actually evaluate parameters just now, which I mentioned, similar to that. But then again, the real question is for the businesses, do they want to really reinvent the wheel?
That's a good one. Whether they want to reinvent the wheel. So from your conversation that I understand that you have multiple times emphasized about compliance, about regulatory changes, and also about security. And those are the biggest challenge most companies face right now. So let's touch a bit on that. What are the compliance challenges associated with developing an in-house e-invoicing system, especially in a constantly changing regulatory landscape throughout the world? Not while we are talking specific to Malaysia today, but throughout the world, the regulatory changes is consistent and constant change. So what's your take on that?
Correct, Tava. So we go by this understanding that till the regulation is in draft, no one will act. And once the regulation is published, no one has time to comply. So it will always be a job which has to be done in hurry. So regulatory requirements evolve rapidly, and this makes compliance an ongoing complex challenge, right? So non-compliance for businesses can lead to hefty penalties, damage to reputation in from perspective of the market and customer, and there is damage to the brand's credibility also. As a leader, as a chief executive of the organization, mitigating risk to the business is of utmost importance, right? So e-invoicing platform like ours, like Marmin, are purpose-built to ensure compliance at scale and minimize the risk of non-compliance and associated penalties for the businesses, for the customers we have. On the other hand, building and maintaining an in-house solution requires the company to continuously update the system, invest in knowledge, invest in the regulatory updates, and this is actually resource intensive and time consuming task.
Okay, so let's stick to the compliance part for now. And you mentioned that keeping the solution up to date with compliance and regulatory changes requires high resources in terms of keeping them in place. So how does Marmin manage compliance effectively?
Oh, e-invoicing as a product is it's a product which is an outcome of understanding of tax advisors, technology consultants, process consultants, and regulatory updates. Right? All this mix up, and then what comes is a e-invoicing product. So we have team which are dedicated to track, update, monitor, manage, and build product around these. Right? These regular actions from our side remove the compliance burden from the businesses, right? Where we ensure they remain compliant without dedicating their internal resources to track and manage the continuously evolving regulatory changes versus market changes.
Thank you for that, Sangmesh. I just want to go into something that is very critical at the moment. Throughout the globe, businesses are concerned about security, data compliance, data privacy, right? To touch a bit on that, data security is paramount, no matter where in the world you are, whether invoicing or not. How should a CEO's approach in terms of security when choosing between buying or tying up with a third-party solution like yours should take place?
Yeah, I'm aware of some countries where there is a regulation which says that the cybersecurity head has to directly report to the CEO of the organization or the head of the organization. This is where there is this differentiation of what used to happen maybe 10 years ago, where cybersecurity was a function of IT department, but now it has become a separate function directly reporting to the head of the organization, which emphasizes that is cybersecurity is one of the business concerns where it has to be, the risk has to be minimized, right? When it comes to e-invoicing, it is very well understood that the data generated by businesses includes sensitive trade information and financial information. Building an in-house solution will require significant investment in managing and building this robust security measures around this data and staying updated on the latest best practices to safeguard critical data of businesses. Companies must actually implement security frameworks which are at least equivalent to ISO 27001 or SOC 2 SOC 2 procedures alongside maintaining secure and scalable infrastructure. This is kind of build with a mindset of having security all the time in place. Alternatively, businesses have a choice of choosing a platform like Marmin, which is already SOC 2 and GDPR compliant, are highly scalable, provides peace of mind to businesses. Such platforms are designed with stringent security standards, including encryption at rest and encryption in transit. There are regular audits from external parties, and there is adherence to global compliance requirements. By leveraging such trusted platform, businesses can focus on their core operation while minimizing risk associated with data breaches and non-compliance. So I don't know if you have seen, there is a mandatory cybersecurity related compliance requirement from Malaysia IRBM also, right? So this is paramount in a way.
Okay, that's a good one because I think majority of businesses in the current times are very much concerned about security. And it's good to know that Marmin is taking security to put it as the highest standard. And you talked about highly scalable, stringent security standards, and we're talking about encryption and so on and so forth. And you also mentioned that cybersecurity heads now report to the top management rather than being just a functional person in an IT department. And I think this actually gives a good idea to most CEOs who are planning to implement e-invoicing. to think carefully when they are implementing this and about security. Now, based on some of my conversations with some CEOs, some of the CEOs in enterprise organizations, the one thing that I understand is that there is a big confusion when we talk about PEPPOL standards. So what should a CEO know about PEPPOL standards and the technologies, protocols in an e-invoicing platform besides PEPPOL standards?
All right. I'll first speak about Malaysia's requirement, and then we will get into PEPPOL. The Malaysian requirement of e-invoicing compliance can be achieved just by fulfilling LSDN requirements. But PEPPOL is an added layer to that compliance requirement. The reason for that is PEPPOL is Europe's this is an international interoperability framework, which is existing, I fairly remember, I think from 2008 onwards, but it has gained a lot of traction globally due to its ease of use and how it allows businesses to trade internationally, right? So PEPPOL provides a secure and standardized exchange of electronic documents over internet, right? This is a protocol, even across borders also. By using PEPPOL, businesses can exchange documents seamlessly and securely over a trusted protocol. It's not just, I mean, PEPPOL has to certify you to allow any business to send a document through their network. So it's kind of, going to be the backbone of document exchange going forward, or similar frameworks like that. It is not very hard to envision a future where a debit entry in one business's accounting software automatically triggers a corresponding credit entry into another business's ERP, where it will be streamlining the transaction as well as the bookkeeping part of it. As the world becomes increasingly connected through the internet, bookkeeping solutions will also be integrated over a framework similar to PEPPOL, right? So this is how business is going to trade going forward across borders. So adopting PEPPOL today is a strategic step towards frictionless business of the future. Now, how far this future is, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, it is very difficult to answer currently as of today. But yes, businesses are getting connected over PEPPOL, over such frameworks for sure today.
Thanks, Amish. I think your explanation will bring light to most CEOs who listen to your explanation, because it's a very debatable topic at the moment in Malaysia when we are talking about invoicing, but you're given a wider range of explanation what PEPPOL means altogether. Now, you did touch a bit about cost and resource allocation earlier in our discussion. I would like to go more into that area. What are the cost implications of building versus buying an e-invoice solution?
One statement answer for this is, you want to spend money on CapEx or you want to buy a product on OpEx. It's clear differentiation. I mean, leaders will understand what's the difference between these two parts of adopting a solution or building a solution. Building an in-house e-invoicing solution often will demand a substantial upfront investment in people, technology, processes, and related things. So this is for sure going to be a CapEx investment. Then this is good to do if you know that, okay, there is a end goal which you will achieve by investing so much in this activity. But at a later point of time, you also know that the regulation is ever evolving. So this change will not stop at one particular day or one particular, you can't time frame this, you can't time box this. So there will be ongoing OpEx for maintaining this product right away after you build and make it up and running, where you'll have to manage regular updates, you have to do the management of compliances and continuously support the product, which can be unpredictable in some way and may escalate your long-term investment in this attempt or endeavor. Whereas in contrast, opting for a third-party solution like Marmin will shift your cost structure primarily from CapEx to OpEx, right? and where you can predict what is going to be your expenditure on adopting such solution, right? The fees paid for a third-party solution is going to typically include all the updates which are going to happen in future, providing you scalability for a secure platform where you are not doing any upfront investment in the product itself. This approach will allow businesses to focus on their core operations. They will become more strategically aligned in their corporate objectives rather than maintaining a solution which is ever changing. So this will ensure compliance and long-term financial predictability for the businesses.
So can I summarize to say that, correct me if I'm wrong, that for us, for a CEO, when they are making a decision, if they are selecting building, which means they start with capex and then there is an ongoing opex cost for long term, while comparatively if they are engaging a third party, they will only be an opex cost.
In a way, yes, but depends on again whether the company wants to see this as capex, depending on their scale of operations. If the scale is small, if it is quickly achievable, it would for sure be OPEX.
Right. Thank you for that. And I'd like to move on into something more technical. While we know most large organizations and they will definitely have some sort of solution system in place, like an ERP system, a POS system, or any other system that runs to run their operation, even a basic accounting software. So these softwares would have been in place for a very long time. Now, whether they choose to buy or to build a solution, they need to integrate their current system to the e-invoicing solution. So should companies approach this integration when deciding between building and buying?
Yes. So there are more than 2,000 ERPs in the world. Each of these ERPs will have a country-specific version for implementing local taxation, local regulation. Now, when e-invoicing regulation is coming specific to each country, all these ERP providers will have burden of implementing these changes in their existing ERP solution. Now, how soon they will do, how easily adaptable that will be, it is difficult for us to answer. But still, if the ERP which is in-house allows for customization, there are two choices, right? So if your ERP or if the customer's ERP allows for customization, build on it, right? Build on it so that you can comply with the e-invoicing regulation. Secondly, the other option is if the ERP does not allow for customization, build a middleware which can ingest data from this ERP source, right? These are quick, we can understand this quickly. And then there are specific skills needed to achieve both of these ways, right? You need to have integration capability. You need to have proper master data, because even if you build the integration and the master data is not appropriate, it will be huge task internally to clean this data. There should also be clarity of business processes within the organization and events leading to an e-invoice. It shouldn't happen that there is a step of creating e-invoice, but every process before that is very much skewed in the organization, right?
You're on mute.
Sorry. I was saying that then again, there is understanding of local taxation and e-invoice validation also, which has to be understood and implemented in this integration attempt, right? With considering all of this, one should also not ignore the limitations set by time. Every implementation, every attempt of integration will be time bound. You have to fulfill this compliance activity within certain time. E-invoicing platform like ours, like Marmin, offer the benefit of seamless connectivity as they have pre-built integration with major ERPs, API integration capabilities, and even bulk uploads for faster integration with IRPM, right? So this actually simplifies the e-invoicing compliance process in a way.
Okay. From your experience and Sangmesh, you have gone on mute again.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, so to summarize, it sounds very complicated and complex when you talk about integration, and there's a lot of skill set and technical know-how needs to be in place. And especially when you talk about customization, and if they are planning to build a solution, and you did talk about when customization, and then with customization, you're talking about cost, capability, and you also touched a bit on the data cleansing, and also the know-hows and the clarity of business processes, and also plus the time bound for the compliance as well. So there's many areas that they need to look at before they can actually jump on customization. Now, to go a bit more in that area, what are some integration challenges that an enterprise may face if they still decide to build their own?
This response to this comes from very basic fact. Every business is different. Every business, the way they work is different. So for sure, there cannot be one size fits all or one process which fits all businesses, right? From our experience, every e-invoice implementation has its own challenges, right? For example, some organization may lack clean and consistent master data. This master data is critical for integration. For example, what if you're maintaining your customer data without country codes, which are not in ISO country codes? So IRBM integration expects the country code to be in ISO format, right? Other implementations face inefficiencies due to, as I mentioned, complex internal invoicing process, which requires significant process reengineering, right, internally. Sometimes we even guide them, this is how you have to do, or we have to change your process in this way, right? Additionally, some other ERPs which are a little old, which still exist in market, there are some companies which rely on these ERPs for their business process. They cannot just go into the market and adopt a new solution and change everything in their organization, which they have been using for such a long time, because they don't have integration capabilities, right? This will again complicate the implementation and expectation of e-invoicing project. Approaching, as I said, there is no clear answer, do it this way. The projects, the products, the processes, the company, they have their own hidden procedures which will evolve while we discuss the implementation. So it's going to be e-invoicing product as such will be a tailored one in terms of integration for each organization, right? There has to be a customized, adaptable approach, which is key to ensuring successful and compliant e-invoicing rollout.
Thanks for that. And I believe technical knowledge skills is very important. Plus, how complex it is like how you get muted now and then. That's how systems work. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, now let's go into more general terms. So I would like to understand between the pros and cons of building a solution versus buying a solution. In this context would be the e-invoicing solution. What are the possible drawbacks of a third-party solution compared to a in-house built developed solution?
Uh, mm, while the third-party solutions are quick to deploy, they may lack some level of customization for businesses which are actually having a very specific process requirement, right? For example, I would say airline business. Airline ticketing happens through a globally connected network, right? Now, in a way, you have to go and ask the company to make a product which is compliant with Malaysian e-invoicing or some other countries' e-invoicing. So it is difficult to achieve sometimes. That might be a challenge where highly specific process cannot be integrated as a straightforward action.
All right. What do you think would be top benefits of choosing a third-party e-invoice solution like Marmin over building a in-house solution?
We have discussed this over a long conversation so far, but I will just summarize it into 2-3 points. One is faster implementation, always ready, built-in compliance, and the third is lower long-term ownership cost, right? They can help to streamline your e-invoicing processes quickly.
Great, short and sweet. Good answer for that. So now let's go a bit on the experience that you have in all these years building Marmin and then doing the implementation throughout different regions. Based on your experience in past implementation, can you share how companies benefited using Marmin rather than building on their own?
Oh, this would be categorized into, I would like to categorize our customers into 3 sets, right? One set of customers who want e-invoicing at scale, which means if e-invoicing is not done in time, their business will stop. Second set of customers who do not have the problem of scale, but they come at the last moment and then say, we want to implement quickly. There are many companies which actually try to achieve this in a time frame of 2 weeks, right? Then the third set of customers, which are actually global companies, which are not aware of local regulatory requirements in terms of e-invoicing compliance, right? They lack the knowledge. They come to us and say, quickly implement this for us. So these are the 3 categories in which our customers I would like to segregate. Right? We have customers from B2B space, retail space, global multinationals, airline company. We can share case studies if someone wish to dig deeper or explore deeper around these implementation and care challenges and its benefits.
Thank you, Sangmesh. Thank you very much for your time. And I believe this is a great experience for us. And we would like to see more of this coming from you. And looking forward to have the second round of this CEO discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Thava.
Thank you,
Nice speaking to
Sangmesh.
you. Thanks, JJ. Nice speaking to you too.
Thank you. So thank you to Thavanesh as well. I'd just like to invite all the readers, you're listening to this. If you would like to have a conversation, a CEO to CEO discussion with Sangmesh to discuss not just your challenges in e-invoicing, but more importantly, the kind of business outcomes that you want, the business results that you want, have a chat with him. We will have the link to how to connect with him or to his team in the description after this call. Okay, thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.